Today, we are breaking down an international clash that honestly defied absolutely every expectation we had going in. We're talking intense, tactical chess matches, stunning moments of pure individual brilliance, and the kind of stoppage time, heart in your mouth drama that you literally couldn't script if you tried. Okay, let's dive into this. Going into this matchup, the narrative was absolutely fascinating. You've got the five-time world champions, Brazil, stepping out onto the pitch under an immense amount of pressure to just, assert their usual authority. And on the flip side, we have the Atlas Lions of Morocco. And man, did they have a massive point to prove. They wanted to show the entire world that their historic fairy tale run to the 2022 semifinals wasn't just some fluke, right? They were out to prove they could genuinely go toe-to-toe with a heavily favored Brazilian squad. Section 1. A clash of titans, setting the stage at MetLife Stadium. And to truly grasp the scale of the showdown between two of FIFA's top 10 heavyweights, picture a literal sea of canary yellow. We are talking about 80,000 incredibly passionate football fans packing MetLife Stadium to the absolute rafters. I mean, just imagine the deafening roar in there. That sheer level of expectation from the stands put an unbelievable amount of pressure on both teams right from the very first whistle. The tension was palpable. Moving into Section 2, Morocco's shocking breakthrough. The underdogs strike first. Right out of the gate, Brazil actually looked uncharacteristically nervous, trying to deal with an incredibly aggressive high press from Morocco. And here's why that happened. The Moroccans orchestrated a relentless press that was beautifully anchored by this teenage sensation, Ayoub Bouhaddi. Despite his age, Bouhaddi played like a seasoned veteran. He completely broke down Brazil's structure, and he and his teammates continuously sliced right through these wide, gaping holes left by Brazil's surprisingly isolated midfield. They were totally dominating those early proceedings. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer output of that early dominance. 12. That is the staggering number of shots Morocco, who, remember, were supposed to be the massive underdogs here, registered before the halftime break alone. It's wild. They didn't just hold their own, they forced Brazil onto the back foot time and time again. And that relentless pressure finally paid off right in the 21st minute. Let's break this tactical sequence down. It all starts with a major defensive lapse in the Brazilian midfield. That allows Brahim Díaz to pounce on a loose ball. Showing absolutely elite vision, Díaz threads a perfect defense-splitting pass directly between Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhães. Then Ismael Saibari times his run to absolute perfection, catches Brazilian keeper Alisson Becker just a bit off his line, and sensationally chips the ball right into the net. Just a brilliant, brilliant team goal. Section 3. Vini Júnior awakens Brazil. Individual brilliance rescues the Seleção. Going a goal down sent this very real, looming panic through the Brazilian fans. But exactly 11 minutes later, it absolutely woke the sleeping giants. In the 32nd minute, totally against the run of play, Vinícius Júnior just decides to take matters into his own hands. You can practically feel the kinetic energy on the pitch. He links up beautifully with Bruno Guimarães out on the left flank, uses his trademark explosive speed and those dazzling touches we all know so well, and sharply cuts inside, completely evading Neil El Anaoui. And then he unleashes a powerful, beautifully curled right-footed strike that completely beats keeper Yassine Bounou. What a milestone, too. That goal of pure world-class class marked his 10th international strike for Brazil. And as you can probably imagine, the second that ball hit the back of the net, it sent the entire stadium into an absolute frenzy. Section 4, the tactical chess match, Ancelotti's halftime adjustments. Let's move to and see how this builds from a manager's perspective, because Carlo Ancelotti clearly realized his midfield was basically out there chasing shadows in that first half. Going into the locker room, Ancelotti knew he needed a decisive move. So he executes this incredibly bold double tactical switch. He pulls Casemiro and Roger Ibanez off and brings in Fabinho and Danilo. Now, this wasn't just swapping out tired legs, right? This was a fundamental structural change designed entirely to restore balance and provide a solid defensive structure to finally shut down those lethal Moroccan transitions. And you know what? It worked perfectly. The second half entirely transformed into an absolute tactical chess match. Morocco's explosive runs were stifled, and Brazil really started dominating possession, constantly probing Morocco's rock-solid defense. They tested the waters, Thiago had a fierce long-range strike denied, and Bono had to show off his lightning-fast reflexes to thwart Rafinha, but the defense held firm. Which brings us to Section 5, a dramatic climax, 99th minute heartbreak and heroics. As the clock ticked into a nerve-wracking 10 minutes of stoppage time, both of these completely exhausted sides just threw caution to the wind. And then the 99th minute hits. Out of absolutely nowhere, Brazil's famously reliable keeper Alisson unexpectedly spills a long-range shot from El Ainaoui. Suddenly, the ball is just sitting there, dangerously loose on the grass inside the 6-yard box. Morocco's Ayoube Amamouni immediately lunges forward for what looks like a certain guaranteed match-winning tap-in to seal a historic upset. But wait, in a display of pure, world-class ability, Alisson recovers. While still grounded, desperately leaning back against the turf, he miraculously throws up his right hand and blocks that follow-up attempt. And this brilliantly illustrates Alisson's absolutely heroic reflexes, single-handedly preserving the draw in the dying seconds of the match. Just logic-defying. So let's take a breath and walk through the timeline of this grueling, high-octane roller coaster. We had Saibari stunning the crowd in the 21st minute, Vini Júnior answering with his own individual magic in the 32nd, Ancelotti's masterful structural subs at the 45-minute mark, and finally, Alisson's miraculous match-saving heroics deep into the 99th minute. Moments later, the final whistle blew. Honors were shared, but make no mistake, this outcome carries massive historical significance for both squads. For Brazil, they survived a huge scare to extend their impressive opening game unbeaten streak to 21 matches. But for Morocco, they walked away with well-deserved smiles, proving once and for all that they truly belong right up there on the world stage. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to ponder today. With honors shared against a powerhouse like Brazil, is Morocco finally ready to not just compete on, but actively conquer the world stage? They definitely have the talent and the tactical fearlessness. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on these two incredible squads, and I'll catch you next time as we keep wondering what happens next in the beautiful game.